Hello everybody, welcome to the channel, and this is my video on how I rightfully was banned from r/NoSleep. It's a bit of a lengthy video, but yeah. Before we get into everything, I do want to throw this out there. Please do not send harassment or anything to the moderation team, let alone the platform of Reddit. I'm sure they dealt with enough of that from me directly. I'm an asshole, and I definitely deserve the ban that I got. That being said, there are aspects about this that I don't take back, and I don't take back really anything. I think I responded how a lot of people naturally would in this situation, and I apologize for nothing. That being said, that doesn't mean I wasn't rightfully banned. I absolutely was. But I want to go over the whole situation because it's kind of funny and kind of nutty. So first things first, let me explain like from the beginning how everything happened. So first things first, I've been watching a lot of Creepcasts lately. For those who don't know, it's a podcast-style horror show on YouTube. It's hosted by Papa Meat from Papa Meat and the Meat Animations channel, as well as Wendigoon. And I love both of them as creators. They're really awesome and cool people. They're definitely better than me. Both on the quality of content as well as personalities. That should be self-evident for anyone who's been watching me for any amount of time. Irregardless, I've been watching a lot of their Creepcast, and they constantly were getting a lot of horror stories from a subreddit. Now, normally I think of Reddit as a shithole. I still do. It's a platform full of very arrogant, very up your own ass kind of personalities, especially when it comes to Reddit mods. I mean, being a Reddit mod at this point is a meme for a reason. It's just, they're all a bunch of fucking power-hungry hall monitors at this point. And they're a bunch of assholes for a lot of the time. But, yeah, I genuinely avoid Reddit most of the time because I don't like places like this. I don't like hug boxes. I don't like echo chambers. And Reddit is the capital for all of these things on the internet. It replaced Tumblr in a lot of ways for those aspects. That being said, Creepcast made me kind of reconsider that and want to check out r/NoSleep because it seemed like a pretty cool place because they were reading a lot of horror stories that had really like fascinating ideas and really scary spooktacular moments. I genuinely thought it would be a cool place to post a horror story, and because I like writing, I like, I'm working on a novel right now for my own tabletop war game, and to kind of flex and practice some of my horror muscles, I decided to work on a horror story. So I made a part 1 to that horror story, and I finished it last night. I was up late working on it. I stayed up all the way up to like 1 a.m. and I had to get up in like 3 or 4 hours after into this morning to go to church. So I was incredibly tired, and I worked really hard on it to make it, a really solid start to a story. I went to r/NoSleep, joined the Reddit, and then posted my short story, part 1 of the short story. Now that's where this whole thing begins. So my short story is this: APB, don't go into the woods. I will link this full story for everyone to check out to qualify or to double check like aspects of the story to get an idea of everything that we're about to go over for why this story got removed and banned from r/NoSleep. Don't worry, this story there's no trigger warnings any of you really need. This story doesn't go into any graphic detail about really horrifying things. It is, quite frankly, it's a very vanilla horror story in many ways. And, it gets less vanilla the more into the story we go. But for what is posted of what I've written thus far, this is very vanilla horror story so far. So I will link this, and I'm not going to read all of it right here because I don't want you guys to, I don't want to like bog the video down with just reading off my whole horror story. So if you guys want to go over and ascertain whether everything I'm saying about the story is true, please, by all means, go do. And, that's perfectly fair. So that will be linked in the pinned comment as well as the description. So about, I want to say, 10 to 15 minutes after I posted it on r/NoSleep, I immediately got this message in my inbox on Reddit. The message reads, "Your post from NoSleep was removed because of quote-unquote identifying information." Now, this immediately pissed me off and started me off on the wrong foot. Not only did a story I worked really hard on over several days and very late into the night last night get removed unceremoniously, but the cited reason for its removal was something I considered complete and utter horseshit and little more than a lie. Something being removed for identifying information. And it even goes on to specify, hi, my user handle, your post has been removed from breaking r/NoSleeps and Reddit's identifying information and doxing guidelines. Now, you read that, right? Any sensible person reads that, and the immediate assumption is they're accusing me of doxing. They're accusing me of putting real people's names, phone numbers, locations, the whole shebang, real things in my story, which infuriated me because every single character, location, and name is fucking made up. It's all fictitious. It's pure fiction. Okay? My story is about as fiction as it gets. The only real thing I referenced in the story was the state of Maine, which a state, most states in the US can fit multiple European countries inside of them. So my state is one of those. You can fit like 2 European countries inside of the state of Maine. Hardly a specific or even narrowed down identifying piece of information. Quite frankly, it's about as identifying as stating off a full country or a continent. So that enraged me quite a lot, because I hate being accused of doing something, especially something I consider abhorrent. I consider doxing people's information, short of them doing like something truly criminal, like rape, molestation, any of those kinds of things, like real crimes. Outside of that, those cases, doxing is wrong. It is genuinely wrong and can result in severe harm and death. People have been killed because of swatting. Okay? I take doxing seriously because it is a genuine issue that happens across the internet. So that immediately pissed me off on top of the lack of sleep. This is sounding like I'm providing excuses for things I say later. It's not. Again, I'm wrong. I did wrong. I deserve to be banned off of r/NoSleep because I went a bit far. I admit that. So this is not me providing excuse. This is explanation. But that being said, that immediately pissed me off. They then say, don't delete and or repost it to r/NoSleep with or without changes under any title or username. Reposting this without r/NoSleep mod permission leads to a subreddit ban. So right there is when I stopped reading this, because the initial accusation of doxing and information spreading, that just the idea of it made me so mad, because I knew that wasn't in my story. But I neglected to read the rest of this, and I admittedly hadn't read the identifying information doxing guidelines as fully outwritten. And we're going to go over those because I'll tell you this rule is retarded. Not like the name sounds totally sensible until you actually read it. We're going to go into that. But before we do, the rest of this reads, and again, I didn't read this before doing a lot of what I did. If you delete the post, we can't review it, and it won't be allowed back on r/NoSleep. Click the identifying information doxing guideline links in bold above to read the guidelines. After you've edited your removed post to fix the issues, reply to this message once the mods will review. This is definitely where I messed up. And again, I didn't read this whole section. Not an excuse, an explanation. That is my fuck up. And the mods will review it as soon as possible. Please don't spam us with multiple messages. Again, didn't read this part. Part of my fuck up. Yeah. The mods won't answer any questions or offer in-depth explanations, which are already provided by the guidelines. I think this is stupid, but this is normal Reddit, like, head up my own ass attitude anyway. So this is normal for Reddit, expecting mods to actually mod and be a fair source of information. What are you, insane? I replied immediately to it. Again, keep in mind, I'd only read up to this point, so this is what I said. This is a lie. My post contains no identifying information, which is true, and is still true, and still remains true, and will forever be true. I will never dox somebody unless they are truly criminal and have done something wrong, and even then, I wouldn't do it in a fictitious horror story I wrote over the course of several weekends. Just gonna throw that out there. But even that being said, we're going to get into it. All characters/persons mentioned are fictitious, and locations are real, but generic and intentionally unspecific. And by locations, I mean literally just the state of Maine being mentioned. That's it. So I stand by this is all true. And though this is a lie, it is a lie, again, if we just read the title of identifying information/doxing guidelines. That is a lie, but it is not a lie in regards to after you read it in specificity to their rules, which I do have to take that back objectively, considering how their rules of identifying information and doxing work. So I did that. I got really angry. I had to go to church. Tried my best to fume it all out, and with prayers to the Lord, didn't work, unfortunately. And I then went to their Discord. I've left the Discord now, so I can't show that. But I was actually civil on the Discord. If they have screenshots to prove otherwise, I'd love to see them. But I went to the Discord, and I simply asked generically in the open chat, it's like, hey, my story got removed, and I think for, like a bot. I thought this was a bot. And I still think this was a bot, because it was so soon after I posted the short story, it had to have been. So I see this shit, I'm annoyed, and I went to their Discord asking for help. I didn't get any. The Discord's actually eerily quiet. For a subreddit with so many, like several million people in it, their Discord was like eerily quiet. Like hardly anybody was saying anything. But anyway, that didn't help me, so I then came back to the Reddit and, if I recall correctly, yes, here it is. I then immediately messaged the greater mod team, which is a totally fair and bannable offense to the whole don't spam us with multiple messages. That is my bad. I didn't read that. I fucked up. And for that alone, I deserve the ban. I think that is fair. For that alone. I've done more to deserve that ban more readily, which we will get into. But that alone, I already deserved it. So right here, I've already earned my ban that we're going to get into. I said, hello, NoSleep mods. I'm not sure what bot you guys use to identify things, but would you all kindly fix my post from its status as having been removed? My post was flagged for removal of quote-unquote identifying information when no real persons or places were mentioned outside of the state of Maine. And if mentioning that is an offense to the rule, then simply mentioning the Earth would be as well, given the state is bigger than several European countries and is little more than a biome in which my story is set, which is true. I kindly, though admittedly I am frustrated, request my post be reinstated. And then I linked the post. They then, much later in the day, after all that went down, finally responded to me. And it took them hours to respond. As you can see, sent only an hour ago. This was sent 7 hours ago, so most of the day I was waiting for some kind of response. And I got this just recently. Hello, my username. After you read our guidelines in full, you'll see that's not a lie. And again, now is the time we're going to go over their guidelines. This is the dumbest fucking rule breakdown I've ever read. It's completely absurd, and for this alone, I really think most of you guys should not post your short stories, or stories in general, on r/NoSleep. Not for any, personal reason of mine. I think this is an objective point to not posting on r/NoSleep. Because it's absurd. r/NoSleep's identifying information and doxing page. So, let's read into this, and it's going to start sounding completely reasonable at the start, then we're going to get into bullshit land. Reddit.com takes a hard stance on doxing. Totally fair. You should. Share identifying information, which is a real, actual problem across all social media. Again, I agree. Reddit says it is not okay to post someone's personal information or post links to personal information. Again, agree. All perfectly sensible. This includes links to public Facebook pages and screenshots of Facebook pages with all the names still legible. Again, fair. Posting someone's personal information will get you banned. Again, totally sensible. Per the site-wide rule, don't use even fictional identifying information.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
That whole first paragraph was stressing the real part. And NoSleep is like, don't even use fictional identifying information.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
On a subreddit built around writing stories with characters. Are you seeing why I'm recommending don't go to NoSleep to post your stories? Are you getting it now? Don't use even I can't read it. Don't use even fictional identifying information. Meaning, if you are describing an alien character, and you're like, by the way, this alien character has this weird gangrenous open pore on its neck, pussing blood. Guess what? You are now legible to be banned on r/NoSleep. Why? You have given fictional information. breaking down and identifying an individual, even though they're fictitious. This is fucking ridiculous. Keep anything that could be identifying vague and incomplete so it doesn't look like you're sharing personal information. Again, even for fictional fucking characters, dude. Don't post on r/NoSleep. I'm sure they don't enforce this rule equally. I'm sure there's plenty of people who get away with breaching this rule based on how fucking anal it is. Like, they wouldn't have any posts at all if they didn't let certain people get away with it, but I wasn't one of those certain people. I won't say this. I don't think it's because of, like, who I am on YouTube or anything like that. I was using a different email and a different account. So unless they're IP tracking my ass, there's no way they knew it was me. Like, trust me, that's why I made a separate account and email, not because I've been banned on Reddit, like on a previous account. I'm not gonna evade a ban. Fuck it. You want to ban my ass? Do it. I'm all for it. Fucking do it. I will obey the ban, because any place that would ban my ass is not a place I want to be. So, but this is so absurd, dude. This is so fucking absurd. And it's any bit of information about the character. And it's fictional street addresses, it's fictional phone numbers, it's fictional names and birth dates. Literally, like, so much information that as a writer you might want to add, because it might be like you might come up with a really cool story idea where there's some like time shenanigans. You're like, oh, they were born this date, but the villain was this date, and like there's so much you could do with those little bits that is so much fun to play around with. And r/NoSleep's like, nah, fam, you be doing the doxing. You be getting the bans. Fuck me, dude. To be fair, I didn't read that. According to their rules, I'm fairly banned alone underneath that. So, they finally got back to me, to both of my posts here, and this is what they said. And don't worry, I will get to, I will get to this. Again, this is beyond fair. I am a dick for this. This was wrong of me to do. Do not do this. This is immature and downright wrong. But let me read what they said first. Not that it makes it better. This, no matter what, I was in the wrong for. I don't care, and I'm not sorry for it, but I was and am objectively in the wrong for what's written here. So anyway, hello, at my user handle. After you read our guidelines in full, you'll see that it's not a lie. True, they are correct. I finally read it in full. They are correct. It's not a lie. It's better to read the guidelines before responding to a mod mail, and remember to stay civil, as being rude and aggressive can get you banned and muted. Quite frankly, if they think this was me being aggressive or rude, that's absurd. Like, seriously, I gave them rude and like aggressive here. To be fair, I think that's part of why I said it and phrased it like this, because if this is getting categorized as rude and abusive or aggressive or whatever, like, fuck you, dude. Like, fine. If I'm gonna get accused of that for something so vanilla and nice as this, I'm going full hog, you bitches. Which, again, I'm not apologizing for what I said. I'm not apologizing for it, but objectively, even without apology, I was wrong for saying it. But anyway, I'm gonna say civil is being rude/aggressive can get you banned and muted. Yeah, okay. In addition to breaking our identifying information rule, your story also So here's the thing. This is how petty the mod team is over there. They saw my vanilla as fuck reply saying this is a lie, which granted is, I guess, a little aggressive, but it's not even, it wasn't like I was like, you guys are all liars. I said this specific statement that I got, which again, I was under the assumption it was a bot, so I was like, okay, the bot is lying. So it wasn't an inherently aggressive statement. For me, I was stating a matter of fact. This is a lie. My post contains no identifying information. All characters/persons mentioned are fictitious and locations are real. Again, that by locations, it's the location of Maine. Are real, but generic and intentionally unspecific. That's all I said. But instead of just sticking on the point and you know, they called that rude and aggressive, and then that pissed them off so much that they were like, we gotta find more wrong with the post. So they said the following. In addition to breaking our identifying information rule, your story also breaks our scary personal experiences rule. Yes, they have a rule about scary personal experiences. Shall we? Because nothing happens directly to your main character. They lied. So before, they were right when they said that they didn't lie about the other thing, about the doxing thing. Yeah, their rules are bullshit with that. But they didn't lie about it, at least. This is an actual lie. They said nothing happens directly to my main character, which shows that they didn't read the full short story. They read the first 2 to 3 paragraphs total, because the whole short story part is from the perspective of the main character, and at the very end is describing his personal experiences. What makes them think that it didn't happen to him is that the main character said that the rest of the story, which I haven't finished writing yet, is from the perspective and journal entries of another fictional character. But this whole short story doesn't go into those journal entries. This whole short story, in fact, is quite clear going over Joseph, the main character Joseph's personal experiences. So they didn't read the fucking short story. They were so pissed off by that vanilla as fuck earlier statement I sent them. They were so pissed off by that, and granted, probably what added to that was that I sent them 2 messages, so spam. But they got so pissed by that, they put on their Reddit like fedora and was like, we gotta find more wrong with it. You know, if they had stuck the point and not tried to throw extra shade my way, which they would look better in this coverage here, but they now have lied. Again, they lied. Well, sorry. I guess I should say they lied for the first time. Right after they could have had such a total fucking gotcha on me and been like, "No, we didn't lie. This is the full rules. You didn't read." It's like, okay, fair. You're right. You didn't lie. Now they have. Now they fucking have. Because nothing happens directly to your main character. Literally, the whole story is what's happening to them. Your story comes closest to this not allowed example in our guidelines. This is bullshit. This doesn't apply. Because of this, we won't be allowing your story on r/NoSleep. Check our similar subreddits, link, blah, blah, blah. Don't repost APB, don't go into the woods, to r/NoSleep with or without changes under any title or username. Doing so will result in a subreddit ban, and we won't reconsider this decision. Okay, fine. So, after that, and after now intentionally and directly lying, showing that they couldn't and didn't read my fucking story, on top of already accusing me of doxing, I was extraordinarily pissed, and I said this. Feel free to ban me, cunt. You lied again. And to be fair, it's not again. They lied for the first time. But they lied after I already made a point of calling them liars, so they decided to prove me correct by lying. The main character directly witnesses a horrifying scene at the end. Your illiterate ass didn't even read the fucking thing. Go fuck yourselves. Do I apologize for this statement? No. Would I say it again? Abso-fucking-lutely. If they got in a video call with me right now, would I say it to their faces? Yes. If they showed up in front of my house, would I say it? Yes. And if anything, I would add fervor to it. That being said, I can objectively recognize that despite the fact that I am totally unapologetic about what I said and I stand by it 100%, it was inappropriate to say. I should have remained civil, and that is true. I'm not sorry in the least, though. They also responded to my longer individual post on the subreddit, and again, this is, I think, is perfectly fair to respond with because it's from pure frustration. But they said hello, and they said you've broken our guidelines again by creating a new mod mail. Read our guidelines in full. We won't be responding to this thread again, and if you reply to this message, you'll receive a subreddit ban. I received one already from this response, so I don't fucking care. But yeah, fucking Reddit mods, man. Oh my god. Also, the way they write things is with so much like jerk off energy, right? Like, oh, we're so awesome. We're like we hold all the power. Fuck you, you fucking bitches. God damn. Yeah, so I wanted to share what happened here and again warn people, don't post your horror short stories on r/NoSleep because they have some absurd fucking rules. Like, the doxing and personal information rule sounds and looks totally legit based on the name, but you actually go into it and they're like, yeah, you're not allowed to basically put any identifying information of fictitious characters, which is absurd. Like, you're not allowed to write full names, you're not allowed to do this or that. It's just fucking nuts. It's fucking nuts, dude. So if you're gonna post your horror short stories, I don't know, quite frankly, make your own website. Go to Squarespace. I'm not sponsored, but go somewhere like that. Go anywhere but there. Hell, go to Facebook. They're far less ridiculous about this. And also, if we're just talking about subreddits, so far anyway, give it time, quite frankly. But I posted APB Don't Go Into the Woods on r/creepypasta, and it's doing just fine. I like it over there. I'm hopefully it's only gonna continue to do well over there, and I'm gonna continue posting the parts of the story over there. So if you're interested in APB, don't go into the woods. Go check it out over there. And again, don't send any hate or attacks in r/NoSleep. Just if you are gonna post there, I guess write the most vague stories you possibly can, because any identifying information they can legitimately ban you for under their rules. So it's just absurd. This whole situation is a clown show. Granted, I added to the clown show, so honk honk, but it's fucking hilarious, dude. Oh my god, fucking Reddit, dude. What is it with Reddit and just like we have to make rules for rules and rules and rules and oh yeah, more rules. It's like, guys, just let people fucking post shit and like seriously, it's a platform. Yeah, it's technically your community, but who's the fuck is gonna hold you accountable if someone posts some docs? Just as long as your moderation team delete it when it happens. And also, just why make the rule include fictitious information, especially on a fiction writing subreddit? That's just, my mind is boggled by that. Holy crap. I don't know. I just find somewhere else to post your shit. Hell, post it on X. You know, well, like make a website or a twit longer or whatever on a different site for the short story, and then just share it on Twitter. You'll have at least more of a chance of your story actually including details that are engaging and cause people to actually be interested in your story. Based on NoSleep's rule, you can't even properly describe things and describe characters without personal information of fiction. It's a fucking fiction, dude. Anyway, I'm out. I see this video getting 1 or 2 like heavy responses, and both of which I totally foresee and understand. Like, it's either going to be the NoSleep community coming and defending the moderation team and being like, "Oh, you're an asshole for what you said." Yes, I am. I don't disagree. So totally get it. Or it's going to be the anti-Redditors and like my community are mainly going to respond to it and are just going to point and laugh at the ridiculousness. And hopefully, listen to me when I say don't go over there and bother their mod team. Because, you know, as much as their mod team are a bunch of self-important, self-aggrandizing assholes that are full of shit and proven liars, now in this video, proven fucking liars, that aside, they're just a bunch of losers on the internet. They're nothing in real life. And their one highlight in their day is bothering people like me who are just trying to share a fun little spooky story. So, anyway, that's it for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you didn't, I don't fucking care. Goodbye.